Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Dr. Bob Milligan, and today we are going to talk about a very important topic that relates to how we respond during conversations, and the goal is to really improve communication. And we start by thinking about the difference between emotion and behavior. So when we think of an emotion, the effect of that emotion, anger, frustration, happiness, is internal to ourselves. Okay, the impact is primarily on yourself, on me, on ourself. So it's important to remember that emotions are normal and very personal. We should never tell other people how to feel. Never say, don't be angry. When we talk about behaviors, on the other hand, the effect is primarily external. It's primarily on other people. So consequently, it's very important that before we respond, before we have a behavior, we think about what the implication is going to be on how other people are going to interpret that. The key here is we choose our behaviors. We don't choose our emotions. They're who we are, but we can choose our behaviors. So in a conversation, when we have an emotion as a result of what the other person is saying, we actually have a very important choice. We can react, and if we react, we will have an instinctive behavior. It may not be what we really wanted because we didn't take the time to consider the impact of our behavior. Our alternative is to have a thoughtful behavior. Take the time, think about how we should respond, what our actions should be, what we should say, and how that what we say and what we do will impact others. Now, if we tie back to a previous podcast where we talked about active listening, we can tie the two together because we can look at this time that we pause to stop and think as that active listening pause. Take a second or two before you respond. And in that second or two, you have the opportunity to choose a thoughtful behavior. So the key then is to recognize that emotions are who we are. When we have that emotion, happiness, anger, we need to take the time, a second or two, before we speak, before we act, to be sure that we are having a thoughtful behavior.